Hi Aries, welcome to your January 2020 Astrology 33 reading. Thank you to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you interested in booking a personal reading with me, if you're watching this at the time I'm first posting it, I won't be offering personal readings at that time. Once we actually do get into the month of January, I will open those back up. So just check out the description of the video for more info on all that. Alright, as far as what we have here, we have a Celtic cross spread as always, and we have some oracle cards to get to. You got an extra card that came up there, and also a mudra card. Overall, this looks like a really positive reading, but let's get into it. In the main situation position, we have the King of Pentacles. So this is actually the court card that represents Taurus. So for some of you, you guys could actually be dealing with the Taurus, or for you guys, since that's your second house of finances, this could just be pointing to you having a lot of focus on that area at this time. And what I really think this could be pointing to primarily is the fact that Uranus, which is in your second house, will actually be going direct in January. And that could actually cause a shift in your finances. And it might even be that there might be some rumblings of stuff going on now, because currently, at the time of recording this, we actually have Jupiter trine Uranus in your second house of finances. And then there's going to be a new moon very close to that as well, the same aspect. So that could really just have some things that start rolling for you guys. But, come January, maybe even you have to wait up until around the time when Uranus does go direct, which I think will be around the middle of January. That could be when you actually see some benefit from that. So for some of you, this can just represent a promotion some of you may have gotten, or maybe just overall success that you're experiencing in finances. Like I said, it could just be a focus as well, but I'm feeling that for a lot of you, this actually represents some kind of forward progress. In the challenger obstacle position, we have the King of Swords and the Nine of Pentacles. So what I'm seeing for some of you with this, well, this is actually a court card for Aquarius. So again, we do see another indicator of some possible Uranus energy. And like I said, given that the ruler of Aquarius is Uranus and it's in your second house, this could definitely be pointing to finances. And maybe with this being in a challenger obstacle position, maybe it's saying that you felt like you were close, right? As far as the Nine of Pentacles isn't necessarily a bad card by any means, but maybe you feel like it's just something that was delayed for you guys for a long time. You felt like, okay, I'm really close to where I want to be financially, but maybe you just felt like you kept running into a bit of a roadblock. This could even represent a boss for some of you, for example. So maybe there was a boss who might have been blocking you in some way, shape, or form from getting to this level, but maybe for whatever reason that actually gets cleared away. For example, maybe all of these intense energies going through your 10th house, maybe some of them might actually be moved, for example, removed from the position, for example. There's a few ways that could be playing out. And for some of you, I do have to point out that another potential vibe that I'm getting with this is that for some of you, this could even be around some kind of a divorce proceeding that you may have been going through, or just possibly any legal situation you might have been dealing with. Because the reason why I say divorce first is because this card often represents a single energy, and if we look at the way these two cards are laying in the spread, the sword is pointing right toward the Queen of Cups in the past position. So that makes me think, for some of you anyway, that could have been a love relationship, and maybe there was a divorce, and maybe, the block was maybe the lawyer was really trying to squeeze you guys financially regarding the situation with the divorce, and maybe now that actually clears up for you guys and works out in your favor. I'm trying to see if anything else comes to mind with these cards. And I mean, for some of you, it could just even point to something as simple as maybe this is just saying that you're having a very heavy focus on your finances, because this is actually a 6th house energy, which is Virgo, which is your work. And it could just be saying that you're detaching in other areas. This represents your house of friendships, for example. So maybe you could, in a way, really be getting a lot of progress with your finances, but maybe other areas of your life are falling by the wayside in the process. In the foundation position, we have the Page of Pentacles. So if this is again pointing to your energy, this could represent, and especially what I was mentioning with the Uranus and Jupiter situation going on, Jupiter being in your 10th house of career, Uranus being in your house of finances, this could even be a bit of a sudden boost in your career as far as maybe you guys actually leap a couple spots. So maybe you thought, oh, all right, I'm just going to make the natural progression, and maybe you end up getting promoted instead of the next spot up, maybe 2, 3 spots up. That could be what's at play for some of you. And for others of you, this can just be pointing to what I was saying as well, which is you might have just felt like this was a long time coming for you guys, because I always point out that what stands out to me the most with this page in particular is that the pentacle still seems to be just right out of his reach, right? It's not fully in his hands. So this could just be saying that. And again, maybe it was because there was someone in your environment that didn't actually want to see you progress in your career, and maybe they were holding you back in some way. And maybe this is saying that this was how you were feeling this entire time, like that promotion, that next big break was just out of your reach, right? And maybe now you're finally getting that with these aspects that we already discussed. All right. In the past position, we have the Queen of Cups and the Two of Pentacles. So this could even point, well, let me first point out that this is actually the court card for Cancer. And of course, we're going to be having a full moon eclipse in that sign in January. But given that this is in a past position, I don't think it's pointing to that eclipse. What I think this could be pointing to for some of you, though, could just be saying that maybe around the time of Cancer, that might have been where you actually might have run into some financial difficulty. And, so maybe this is where we're seeing that improvement, right? Maybe some things happen around that time. For some of you, I did put the possibility out there that maybe there was even a divorce that you were going through. So maybe it was even around that time. And now that we're 6 months past that situation, now we're going to be seeing things from a different angle, right? So, for example, in Cancer season, we had the new moon in Cancer, then the full moon in Capricorn. Now it's going to be flipped. We're going to have the new moon in Capricorn, full moon in Cancer. So it can just be bringing these things back up for review again. And if this was some kind of a divorce proceeding, what could have been the situation was maybe you had someone who actually might have been juggling in the situation, and then that could have been why you wanted the divorce to begin with, right? And maybe there was a lawyer that was really trying to keep that out of sight, but maybe it looks like there's some kind of shift where maybe some information that was previously hidden might come out, and that might be what turns the tide for you guys as far as if it is a divorce proceeding. Obviously, that's not going to be the case for a lot of you, though, but they want to at least mention that. Trying to see if anything else comes to mind. And, I do have to point out that there's some cards that we'll see a little bit later, too. What this can be pointing to for some of you as well could just be saying that your focus on your finances has been so heavy lately that, let's say, if this is representing a potential romantic connection, it might just be saying that you've been putting so much energy into your finances that it might be to the detriment of your romantic relationships and possibly even family. I do have to say this would represent home and family for some of you. This is 11th house energy here, and then in the present energy we have a Libra card, which is actually your opposite sign. So that could represent romantic relationships. So what this could be saying, all these pentacles here, and then we see, like I said, this could represent home and family. This could represent friendships. This could represent romantic relationships. So it could just be pointing to the fact that maybe you guys are a little bit too heavily focused on your finances, and those other connections in your life might be suffering as a result. I do have to at least put that out there because I do see that potentially being the case with some of you. And you know what? Let's call it what it is. It makes sense in a certain way too, as far as in your 10th house of career and social status this month, we're going to have that conjunction of Saturn and Pluto. So it might show where you might have been becoming a bit obsessive around that area of your life, right? So maybe it's now showing you not only where you've been obsessive, but maybe there could even be a bit of fallout in some regard when we have that eclipse in your 4th house, right? So just something to keep in mind there. But again, like I said, I do feel overall this is definitely a positive reading. Maybe this is just trying to bring that to your attention for at least some of you, though. Now, with this in the present and the reverse position, going back to the potential where I was saying of maybe workplace or maybe even a divorce settlement, some kind of legal settlement you were going through, this could just be saying that maybe this comes out as far as um, if there was some dishonesty on the part of the lawyer or the boss or whoever it may have been. It looks like it could be coming to light here with the Queen of Swords coming up in the reverse. Now, I could just be saying that another way I could see it is to say that these whatever this outcome may be, whether it's looking for promotion or a legal settlement or something along those lines, seeing this in reverse could be saying that it wouldn't turn out in your favor, right? It would be an unjust decision. But the reason why I don't think that's the case is because in the near future we see the Ten of Pentacles. So I'm feeling it's more the former situation that we were mentioning, which is whomever you were dealing with here. Like I said, could be legal, could be a boss, whatever. It looks like they can be found out to have been the ones who were being dishonest, and then that would work out in your favor, obviously. But with this coming up in the reverse as well, could just be pointing to an air sign, possibly a Libra, that might be being dishonest with you for one reason or another. Or again, like I said, because you have such a heavy emphasis on your finances right now, maybe this is just saying that your romantic relationships, that area of your life, might be suffering as a result. In the near future position, we have the Ten of Pentacles. So, like we said, we saw that challenge position had the Nine of Pentacles, and now as we move to the near future, we see the 10. So, you could almost look at the page to the King as a jump up, and then also the 9 to the 10 here as a jump up. So, like I said, it does look like there's some progress. Might have even been a person in your circle that was blocking you from that progress in some way, shape, or form. Looks like whatever that blockage may be, looks like it's being cleared with some of the astrological things we have going on this month, which we already covered. But more than anything, this represents stability. It can also represent family as well. So maybe this could even say that for some of you, this is just maybe you've been really plugging away at your career, and now that you finally reached that point, with this coming up in the near future, that can represent that for some of you. Okay, now you're finally able to get that balance, right? To have that stability, because now you feel like, okay, my work life is where I want it to be now. Now I actually have time for all those other areas, right? So no matter how you slice it, this is definitely a positive card to have in the near future position. The card representing your energy toward the situation, we have the Two of Cups in reverse. So this is actually a card that represents Cancer energy, the first 10 degrees of Cancer. And with this coming up in reverse, this could be pointing to what I already covered for some of you, which is to say that, you just might not even be putting any energy into your romantic relationships, or even if you're, for example, if you're single, you might not even be looking for one, which could be why this is coming up in reverse in that regard, right? Saying that it's not even on your mind, you're just more focused on getting your finances squared away. You're like, oh, I can wait, right? So that's one way it could be playing out. For some of you, this can represent the same situation where I was saying maybe some of you left a relationship, but I'm not really picking up on that as much, just because the Two of Cups energy to me usually points to a newer connection. So I feel that that's more of what it's saying than anything, that for a lot of you, you're just really not putting energy into your romantic relationships at this time. In the environment position, we have the World. So this represents completions. To me, I view it as a North Node card as well. And right now we do have the North Node in your house of home and family. So could be some connection there. But at the same time, I also view this as a bit of Saturn energy. And Saturn obviously is in your 10th house of career. So this can just represent, again, like I said, especially seeing that King of Pentacles and then the Ten of Pentacles, this can just be saying that, all right, whatever you've been working on, probably for quite a while, you finally reached that successful completion point, right? That could be what's going on there. And then even look at this in a more mundane way. With all this stuff going on here with the Pentacles and a possible promotion, this could be as simple as saying you have to travel for your work, right? Maybe now that you have the promotion, okay, we're going to need you to go to other sites, right, around the country or possibly even foreign countries in order to, do your job. And that could even be saying that that's what's going on with your romantic life, right? You're like, all right, well, now I'm going to be on a move a lot. I don't even have to, I'm not even going to be in the same place long enough to actually put any effort into a relationship at this time. And if that's the case, this could be something more temporary too. So, I don't think it's like doom and gloom for your love life, but it could just be that for this month in particular, it's not really in focus. And again, like I said, even if we look at the astrology, that makes sense because there's going to be plenty going on in your 10th house. There's going to be the eclipse in your 4th house. So, yeah, of those major houses, the 7th house, which is your relationship house, might be suffering for a while, right? While you're going through all that. So, that could be what this is pointing to. Trying to see if anything else comes to mind with this. And another indicator that this could be pointing to travel for a lot of you as well is the fact that Mars will be moving into your 9th house of Sagittarius, which often represents foreign cultures, long distance travel, and then I do see the Temperance card at the bottom of the deck for some of you guys, or for you guys too, rather. So for some of you guys, this can definitely be saying that, maybe just with your ruler shifting into that area, could just be what's bringing this about as well. Hopes or fears position, we have the Emperor and the Eight of Cups. So this is an interesting combination here, and this is actually the major arcana card for your sign, and then this is actually Pisces energy here, represents the first 10 degrees of Pisces. So however weird this may sound, for some of you, I would say that this is a fear for you. You wouldn't think your card coming up in the upright is a fear, right? But the reason I say that is I'm saying you might fear actually taking some time away, because to me I view that Eight of Cups as walking away from something. So it could just be saying that you might fear that you would lose ground if you take some time off, right? So again, especially if you felt like you might have been in this position for so long, now you might be like, all right, I finally got to where I want to be, right? With that King of Pentacles position. And then there's that potential to possibly overwork yourself because now you're fearful that, oh, if I even, go on a brief vacation, right? Maybe it's as simple as that. Maybe your relationships have suffered for a while because you were so focused on finances. Maybe this is nudging you to actually take a vacation with your person, with your significant other, right? And you're fearful that, oh, if I take time off, someone might come take my spot or something like that. You know what I mean? So that could be how it's playing out for some of you. For others of you, if this were to be hopes, for hopes energy, maybe if this does represent possibly even shifting to a different job altogether. Maybe again you came to the realization that you're always going to be in this position as long as you're in this workplace, right? Because maybe for some of you, like I said, there could be a boss that's represented by this card here with that Nine of Pentacles saying that they wouldn't let you get past a certain point. So for some of you, you might actually be hoping to leave that job and move on to another. So that could be what's at play for some of you. The outcome position, we have the Lovers. So with this, well, this is a major arcana card for Gemini, which is your 3rd house. So maybe this could even represent for some of you a bit of a compromise, right? Where, like I said, maybe your significant other, maybe this is just saying that you guys aren't breaking up, but just that they might be nudging you, hey, all right, you've been working really hard lately, I barely see you anymore, let's go on a vacation, right? And then with this representing 3rd house, that's usually more of a short distance travel. So maybe that's the compromise that you guys reach. Like, well, I don't want to do this, crazy big vacation because I'm worried if I take too much time off, I might lose some ground, right? So you might compromise. All right, let's take a quick road trip, right? A few hours away or something like that. But for others of you, this can just be saying that there could be a love connection that does come into your life. And with that Two of Cups coming up in the reverse here, this could just be saying that maybe they would be, someone might make an offer to you. Because again, with this being in the reverse, I feel like this isn't even a focus of yours right now. Obviously we said what your focus does seem to be this month. So maybe this is one of those unexpected connections that might come along, while you're just living your life, doing your thing. And that's usually how that tends to happen anyway, right? When you stop looking for these things, they tend to fall in your lap. So that could be what's at play for some of you. And then for others of you, this can just be pointing out what I was saying, that what some of you may feel as well, which is now that you finally do feel financially secure, now that you got that, you secured that promotion or whatever the case may be, now you're actually able to start putting more attention to those other areas of life, and your love life could be one of them, right? So either way, pretty solid card to get. Moving on to your oracle cards, the first one we have is All That Glitters. There's the artwork, and the number is 16. So this is actually the number of the tower in a major arcana too. Just wanted to point that out. But first we'll read what the book says, and then I might add something after that. So let me just see. Okay, it says a need to see beyond the superficial, the desire to don a mask or dress something up to disguise its true nature, trying to be something you're not, chasing after every sparkly new thing, being mercurial. The oracle's message: it's only human to want to adorn oneself in trinkets and paint a pretty picture of oneself. It's natural to want to acquire the trappings of status, or to deny them as a statement of rebellion. But if it sparkles, is it better? Whether it's a fast car, a big house, a title or position, the stamp of authority, or the sparkling of diamonds, these icons let you know something about a person, place, or thing. Or do they? The truth is that people seek to acquire things because of what they will do for them and how they symbolically will elevate them and make them more attractive. This card signals that it's time to see beyond the adornments and probe underneath the surface. Learn to recognize the mask people wear and the motives underlying them. Imagine that all that glitters is gone. Would you still desire the object or person? So, definitely a pretty significant message there. And I mean, the overall vibe that I'm picking up on with this more than anything is just that it's saying, just be mindful of not, and we already covered it, right? Just not putting too much energy and focus on material things, right? And then in the process, other areas of your life that in the long run would be more important and more valuable, right? They might fall by the wayside. So I feel like that's really just the main warning there. All right. The relationship message says sometimes we try to become something we're not to impress others. We embellish a story a bit, adding some dramatic elements to make us more appealing. The real person becomes hidden behind the sparkle and shine. Then there are times when we don't see the true value of someone else because he or she may not have the glitz and glamour that seems so desirable. Now is the time to look past the surface, beyond the mask, to the essence of a person. Who that person is, not what he or she has or can give you, is important. See beyond the glitter and look for the inner glow. Use the eyes in your heart. Let go of artifice and let what is authentic shine. So, pretty interesting message there as well. And for some of you, that could be what that lover's energy represents, right? Maybe, like I was saying, that could just represent even an unexpected connection coming your way. And maybe that has some long term potential there. All right, the prosperity message says sometimes an opportunity looks so good that it glitters like gold and you just can't resist it, especially when it appears others are doing so well and have hit the mother lode. During the American gold rush, everyone hurried west to find their fortune and then deserted entire towns after the mining depleted the gold veins in the earth. So too can you deplete yourself as you chase after the latest shiny thing that has caught your eye. There is a mercurial quality to your present circumstances. Pay no attention to those who chase after fool's gold. Resist the temptation to be jealous of others. What they have achieved may not be the true success you seek, so don't compare yourself to them. You see only the surface right now, only the sparkle. Be assured that you will experience your own shining moment if you stick to what you know. All that glitters may not be gold for you. So definitely interesting there. And again, I feel like overall that still seems to lean towards that same theme, which is to say, if you're just feeling really caught up in material type things right now, maybe you need to just be on the lookout for that. And like I said, that Saturn-Pluto conjunction for you guys could really just point to that, where you might be a bit obsessive in that area of life. So something to keep in mind there. All right. The next card we have is a leg up. There's the artwork, and the number is 34. Okay, it says receiving help, delegating authority, interdependence. The Oracle's message: you've come to a point where going it alone is no longer optimal for you. Life has a way of presenting you with the perfect people to align with who can give you a leg up during this next phase of your journey. Help comes to you in all the areas of your life where you need a boost. The trick is to accept that aid so freely given. When you embrace interdependence, allowing teamwork and independence to commingle, miracles happen. Now is such a time. So, definitely an interesting message there as well. And I do have to say, I wasn't really thinking that before, but maybe that could even be what's at play for some of you too, which is to say, this is where you ultimately want to be, right? But maybe at the same time, the King of Swords energy could be a bit detached. So it could just be saying, in a way, you might have been getting in your own way with that Nine of Pentacles energy, saying that, in order to get from that 9 to that 10, it might actually require a little bit of collaboration on your part, So maybe that's what that's pointing to. All right, the relationship message says relationships that are healthy thrive on interdependence. It's important to recognize that you need others as much as they need you. You must allow people to support you just as you are there for them. This is a time to be vulnerable, to speak up about your needs, and to ask for them to be fulfilled. Trust, you will be met with kindness and love. Don't expect others to read your mind, though. Ask and it is given. So, again, maybe that's what this is all about too, again, where maybe you might come off overly independent, and maybe people feel that you're pretty closed off. So that could be where it might feel like it's difficult for them to get closer to you, so which is fine if that really isn't what you want. But if for some of you may be wondering, well, what's keeping me from getting there, right? Because this could represent that commitment and stability in a certain way as well, right? This could just be saying that maybe with that, especially with the full moon happening in your fourth house, like maybe it's just a belief that you've had for since you were a young kid, oh, this is just what I have to do, right? It could be like an identity thing that you've had, and now maybe you get a different look at that with that full moon eclipse in your fourth. All right, the prosperity message says now is the time to seek advice from a mentor or business advisor who has been where you want to go to help you get there too. If you do, you will receive very good counsel that will aid in your prosperity. It may also be the case that your endeavors have grown and you are in a position where you just can't do it all yourself anymore. Time to bring on those who can give you a leg up. Trust that help is available and it will indeed appear. Delegate authority to others so you can take steps toward your big dream. The perfect people will arrive at the perfect time so long as you step forward with just a mustard seed of faith. So, pretty positive message there. And like I said, especially for those of you where you might feel like you've hit a bit of a wall, right? Like I said, for those of you who feel like you're in that page energy, you're like, how do I get there, right? I'm at the 9 of Pentacles. How do I get to the 10 of Pentacles? Maybe that's saying, again, in a way to be a bit more open to others and maybe ask, how they might have gotten to that position if they're already there. All right. And the last oracle card we have is Porcupine Spirit. It says time for beginner mind. There's the artwork. The number is 48. Okay, it says when Porcupine Spirit calls your name, you are being asked to adopt a beginner's mind and to approach situations with innocence and curiosity. The old, confining stories no longer have a hold on you. Life is full of surprises hiding in plain sight. Looking at the world afresh with new eyes can help you find what you have been seeking, whether it is a relationship, an opportunity, or evidence that you have all you need right now to co-create what you desire. Who knew? Porcupine asks you to be playful and have a childlike curiosity. There is so much waiting for you that you have yet to discover. So definitely an interesting message there. And then when it says the playful energy, that made me think of the lovers in the outcome position as well. So maybe that just represents, you guys lightening up in some way, shape, or form. But hopefully that resonated for you guys. And last, we have a mudra card. So the mudra for your sign for this month is Apana mudra. There it is there. And the keyword for it is release. So definitely interesting keyword. Alright, there's some information on it if you wanted to pause it or take a screenshot to read what it has to say. And since not everything's fitting in the frame, I'll just move it up a bit so we can see the rest. But it says general detoxifying effect on the body, improves elimination, reduces constipation, benefits the urinary bladder and uterus, regulates menstruation, clarifies the skin. So that sounds like something you think would be beneficial for you guys. I will put the name of the mudra in the description as always. We'll wrap up there, guys. Happy New Year, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.